Good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you who have joined us this morning on Friday the 16th of September for our first Nepal Development Conference. Thank you all for having joined us. Thank you for the people who have joined us from overseas in particular, and we really look forward to a very different type of engagement, but we hope just as productive as a physical event at this first digital engagement between the two countries. A little bit of housekeeping. If you would like to submit any questions, we hope you do. We will try and submit them to the relevant people during the course of the event. We've had so many questions, however, in the run-up to the event that we may not have time to get through everything, but we will attempt to get through as many as we can, and those that we can't get through, we'll attempt to follow up with after the event. Now, as you are undoubtedly aware, Nepal's had a huge historic relationship with the UK, over 200 years. And I think that's reflected by the way in which our bilateral relationship has developed recently. I think the UK government's UK export finance arm, having such a huge risk appetite of between £1 and £2 billion, is reflective of that very deep relationship. We're hoping to organise a trade mission once COVID is behind us, or once we're able to travel, and we will look forward to a series of engagements over the course of the coming months and years with Nepal. I'm delighted to say, aside from my role as Chief Executive as DMA, I also took up a very recent role as Secretary General of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum. And more of that later, but I'd like to hand over now straight to the substantive part of the event, and I'm delighted that Lord Sheikh, the Vice Chairman of the Nepal All-Party Parliamentary Group, as well as the Chairman of this newly formed UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, will officially open this event. I hope you enjoy the event, and I look forward to hearing your questions and connecting with you during the course of the presentations. Many thanks.
Honourable Minister, Your Excellencies, Lord Billy Moria, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would like to welcome you all to the Nepal Development Conference. I'm a great friend of Nepal and have visited this marvellous country on several occasions. I've established a very good connection with His Excellency Dr. Durga Bahadur Subedi. The Nepalese are extremely friendly and welcoming people. Nepalese culture is rich and brimming with tradition. It's no wonder that over 60,000 British tourists visit Nepal every year. I'm a Vice Chairman of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Nepal and actively promote the country in any way I can. One of our first events will be a trade mission to Nepal in 2021, which will be organized by DMA. We have now formed the forum, and it has prominent and active members, including British peers and leaders of the Nepalese diaspora. We are looking for more members and would welcome anyone with an interest in Nepal to become a member. The General Secretary is Atam Sandhu, Chief Executive of DMA, and I would like to thank him for the arrangements he has made in getting this virtual conference together. The relationship between UK and Nepal is over 200 years old. The partnership began in 1816 with Treaty of Sigoli, which established a formal relationship between Britain and Nepal. Since then, this special relationship has only strengthened. As a British politician, I'd like to state that we are very grateful to Nepal for providing us with some of the best fighting men in the world. There is a strong support in the UK for the Gurkhas who have fought alongside British troops. In fact, 13 Victoria Crosses have been awarded to the Gurkhas. Britain was the first country to establish an embassy in Kathmandu, and Britain received Nepal's first diplomatic mission. Today, the FCDO has a strong sustainable development partnership, and UK aid continues to be the largest bilateral support to Nepal. We would like to see aid and trade go hand in hand. DFID has done some excellent work on water sanitation, food security, nutrition, and rights being given to women and girls. The British Council has promoted higher education, English language tests, and skills. There are over a dozen Nepalese higher education institutions affiliated to UK universities, and we hope to develop these educational ties further. Nepal is a very active market for trade and investment. Nepal is now ranked 94 out of 190 countries on doing business. This has increased by 16 points and is a sign of Nepal's remarkable economic progress and stability. In 2019, the total exports from Nepal to UK were 68 million pounds, and 53 million pounds were exported from UK to Nepal. We would like the bilateral trade to increase further with mutual benefits. UK exports have grown in recent years, but we need more British companies doing business in Nepal. There are incredible investment opportunities within transport, infrastructure, agriculture, financial services, tourism, education, hydropower, mines, and mineral sectors. In fact, there are already some big players established in Nepal, such as Standard Chartered Bank, Unilever, Nestle, Cloud Factory, and Candle Group. Their presence in Nepal should be a signal to other investors that Nepal is a great place to do business. Nepal and UK are deeply connected. As we recover from COVID-19, we must do all we can to strengthen these links and support sustainable development. Following this conference, I hope we will be able to accelerate our business ties with this marvelous and friendly country. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord Sheikh, for those encouraging words and for showing just how special the UK's relationship is with Nepal. It's great as well that you also highlighted the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, and it's a pleasure to be involved again. Thank you, Lord Sheikh. Now I'm delighted to hand over to, sadly, outgoing Nepalese ambassador to the UK. It's been a pleasure to know you, Ambassador. Thank you for pushing this trade and investment agenda so hard and so passionately, and we're delighted to hear from you. Please, you're
Distinguished Chairman of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum and Vice Chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Nepal, Right Honourable Lord Sheikh and Lady Sheikh. Chief Guest of the conference, Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs of Nepal, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Gyawali, Chairman of the CBI and Vice Chair of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, Right Honourable Lord Billy Moria, Vice Chair of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, Right Honourable Viscount Waverley, British Ambassador to Nepal, Her Excellency Nicola Pollitt, Vice President of the Federation of Nepalese Chambers of Commerce and Industries, Mr. Chandra Dhakal, President of the Nepal Britain Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Rajendra Khetan, dignitaries and members of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and namaskar. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to extend a warm welcome to the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs of Nepal to this Nepal Development Conference, focusing on the development of Nepal in general and particularly on the trade and investment opportunities in Nepal. The conference is jointly organized by the Embassy of Nepal and the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum. We are humbled to have Honorable Foreign Minister of Nepal among us today. I also extend a very warm welcome to all the distinguished guests and participants and members of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum present in this conference. Your presence means a lot to us and more importantly to Nepal-Britain friendship. The Nepalese people are celebrating National Day of Nepal from today. On the auspicious occasion of the National Day of Nepal, I, on behalf of the Embassy of Nepal and the Nepalese people residing in the United Kingdom, wish to pay heartfelt homage to known and unknown martyrs who sacrificed their precious lives for the cause of democracy, republican state, and human rights in the country. I take this opportunity to extend warm greetings to all of you present here. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the United Kingdom has long occupied a very special place in the affection of the Nepalese people. We also believe that the British people have a similar attachment with Nepal and the Nepali people. The friendly and mutually rewarding bilateral relationship between Nepal and the United Kingdom have grown considerably over the span of 2 centuries. Ever since the establishment of diplomatic relations, both the countries have maintained excellent state of friendship with enhanced development cooperation and growing people-to-people ties. Tourism, trade, education, and cultural ties, including the distinguished service of the Gorkhas, remain the key dimension of Nepal-Britain relations. Over the years, the close and cordial relationship between Nepal and the United Kingdom has grown manifold to cover diverse fields. The extent of high-level visits have contributed to make our relations deeper and dynamic. The United Kingdom remains one of the biggest bilateral development partners of Nepal, with the annual British development cooperation on an increasing trend. The government and people of the United Kingdom have supported and welcomed the political and social transformation of Nepal. The government and people of the United Kingdom have supported the process of development in Nepal. I am pleased to state that the government of the United Kingdom has stated that it would work closely with the government of Nepal as a close development partner of Nepal. We highly value the continued cooperation of the United Kingdom in Nepal's development endeavors and hope that this will be further enhanced in the days ahead. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the efforts of the government of Nepal is directed towards projecting Nepal as an ideal, promising, and favorable destination for trade and investment. The present government has set the economic development of the country as its primary goal. Its major focus is to give momentum to the economic development of the country, the pace of which unfortunately remained sluggish in the past owing to the protracted political transition in the country. The government of Nepal is implementing liberal economic policies to facilitate trade and investment in Nepal by reducing tariffs, simplifying tax regimes, and focusing on the development and operation of trade-related infrastructure. We are fully committed to improving business climate in the country. The basic thrust of our economic policy has been guided by the unprecedented economic transformation that is taking place in our neighborhood, as well as the opportunities unfolded with the growing phenomena of regional integration. High-level investment and favorable trade are essential for attaining high economic growth rate. For this purpose, the government of Nepal welcomes external cooperation and investment promotion in terms of national interest and priorities, provided we cannot afford to mobilize resources from our domestic sources. Utilizing market access opportunities along with other concessional facilities as are available to the least developed countries and securing uninterrupted freedom of transit, including other associated benefits to the landlocked countries, remain major tasks in the realm of trade and transit. The government of Nepal is committed to mobilize foreign capital to lay the foundation of a competitive and strong economy in the national priority sector projects and also in the sectors where domestic mobilization of capital is inadequate, thus necessitating huge capital investment. It is heartening to note that Nepal's trade with overseas countries other than India and China is also on the rise, so as the case with the bilateral trade between Nepal and the United Kingdom. Full convertibility of the Nepali currency in the current account, provision for maintaining the foreign exchange account for earnings from exports, time-bound duty refund scheme on exports, and de-licensing of imports are the key factors contributing to the diversification of Nepal's foreign trade. Nepal is pursuing a liberal foreign investment policy which is creating an investment-friendly environment to attract FDI into the country. Foreign investment is encouraged in various sectors such as hydropower, tourism, agriculture, and non-timber-based high-value products, development of education and health-related facilities, financial services, information technology, and biotechnology-related industries. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to note that the Nepali diaspora, which is more than 100,000 in the United Kingdom, is active not only for promoting Nepali language, culture and custom, but also is being a vital link in our bilateral ties. Through their engagements in social, cultural and commercial affairs in the United Kingdom, they have brought our two cultures and countries together. I am happy to see that they have already been an integral part of the mainstream British society. More than 100,000 people of Nepalese origin are presently living in the United Kingdom. The Nepalese are now a fast-growing community in Great Britain. The Nepalese people are offering their presence in various sectors, including the commercial and political sectors. They have thus contributed to create a cultural mosaic of Great Britain. In this context, I urge and encourage the non-resident Nepalese living in the United Kingdom to utilize their knowledge, skills, technology and capital for the social and economic development of Nepal. We also encourage the non-resident Nepalese people living in the UK to scale up investment in hydropower, tourism, health, education, information and communications, and several other priority areas of the country. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my sincere belief that the establishment of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum would be important and instrumental to expand link between British and Nepalese traders and entrepreneurs and to further augment British investment in Nepal. The UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum will be an important non-government association of companies and individuals which is committed to increase the level, quality and quantity of trade between Nepal and the United Kingdom, and to assist other people who intended to initiate or foster business between Nepal and the United Kingdom. I appreciate the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, which is determined to create awareness of the opportunities for trade and investment in Nepal, in which will contribute to reducing the dependency of Nepal's economy on aid and remittance. I also commend the objective of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum to impress the British businessmen whose experience of international business can benefit their compatriots in Nepal. Its initiatives and activities to promote the positive inflow of foreign currency for Nepal deserve our appreciation. Last but not least, I, as the Ambassador of Nepal to the United Kingdom, assure all the British traders, investors and entrepreneurs of fullest possible support and cooperation of the Embassy to your future plans to establish and expand trade and investment in Nepal. The Embassy of Nepal is pleased to cooperate with you all to work together to further enhance trade and investment from Great Britain to Nepal, and is ready to disseminate necessary information and offer coordination pertaining to trade and investment with Nepal for the existing and prospective traders and investors of the United Kingdom. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Embassy of Nepal is organizing Nepal Development Conference series in London to support the efforts of the government of Nepal with its national aspiration of prosperous Nepal, happy Nepal. This is the 9th Nepal Development Conference being organized by the Embassy. This conference focuses on the trade and investment opportunities in Nepal. We will be delighted to listen to significant statements and presentations of Right Honourable Lord Sheikh, Right Honourable Lord Billy Mollier, British Ambassador to Nepal, Her Excellency Nicola Pollitt, and the Vice President of Nepalese Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industries, Mr. Chandra Dhaka. I hope and believe that these statements and presentations will be informative, interesting and insightful ones. I would like to once again thank Honourable Foreign Minister of Nepal, Right Honourable Lord Sheikh, Right Honourable Lord Billy Mollier, Right Honourable Viscount Waverley, Her Excellency Nicola Pollitt, and all the distinguished guests and participants for making it to this conference. Long live Nepal-Britain relations. I thank you all. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Ambassador, and we're really looking forward to hearing from you later on this morning too. And now, without further ado, our new ambassador, newly appointed ambassador to Nepal. I say newly appointed at the end of last year. We're really delighted to hear from you, Ambassador Pollitt, about this enduring 200-year relationship. Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Lord Sheikh, Honourable Ambassador Dr. Subedi, guests and participants of the first Nepal Development Conference. I'd like to start by thanking Ambassador Subedi and Lord Sheikh on the establishment of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum. Thank you also for organising this event. I'm grateful for a chance to speak to you all today on behalf of the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office and the British Embassy, Kathmandu. We're in the middle of a global pandemic, but the establishment of this forum is nevertheless timely. Trade and investment was never more important, and it's a priority for the British government. Increasing trade and investment between the UK and Nepal is also a top priority for the British Embassy here in Kathmandu. In October last year, we appointed our first Department for International Trade representative in Nepal to further strengthen our work on trade and investment. Supporting economic development and prosperity is also a major focus of our work in Nepal. Our development programmes create commercial opportunities and improve market access and the investment environment to support Nepali businesses and attract international trade and investment. We're proud to have helped to create over 280,000 jobs in Nepal, facilitated over $1.5 billion of investment and supported the country's financial sector stability. This work strengthens Nepal's position as an emerging market with opportunities for investment. That is in the interests of both Nepal and the UK. Nepal has recently entered a sustained period of political stability. It has seen growth rates of above 7% for the last few years, and the government has set a target to reach middle income status by 2030. Although infrastructure, hydropower and the tourism sector are often touted as areas with the most opportunities, we believe there's immense potential in sectors like education, skills and information and communication technology. Over the coming years, we will be supporting these sectors to attract new investment and create new opportunities for the UK and Nepal. I think it's also important to understand that the UK is supporting the government of Nepal in a green recovery from the coronavirus pandemic. What that means is that we're supporting an economic recovery that's sustainable and resilient by investing in resilient infrastructure, clean energy, green policies, and promoting nature-based solutions through crucial regional cooperation. At the British Embassy, my colleagues and I engage regularly with UK and Nepali businesses to support their ventures in Nepal. Besides providing technical assistance, we're able to build on our relations with the government of Nepal stakeholders to ensure their strong ownership. Our expertise and resources, combined with promising opportunities in new sectors as Nepal recovers from the pandemic, should make Nepal more attractive and more open for business. I'd like to thank you for your interest in doing business in Nepal, your engagement with the new forum, and I encourage you all to stay in touch. Thank you.
What a tremendously encouraging presentation that was, Ambassador. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to bringing a trade mission to Kathmandu next year. Now, it's time to hear from our keynote, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, on Nepal's opportunities for trade and investment in the inaugural Nepal Development Conference. It's an absolute pleasure to have you, Minister. I look forward to meeting you personally when it's safe to travel again, and I look forward to coming to Kathmandu too, and we're delighted to have you here today. Thank you so much, Minister.
The Right Honourable Lord Sheikh, Chair of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, dear participants of the conference, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to speak at the Nepal Development Conference. First of all, I would like to commend the organizers for initiating this important event. I express my best wishes for the success of the conference in achieving its goals. Nepal and the United Kingdom have been enjoying cordial and friendly relations spanning well over 2 centuries. The relations between the two countries are based on mutual trust, understanding and cooperation. The British cooperation has contributed to our socio-economic development, which we cherish as the symbol of the age-old friendship. I recall the historic visit of the Right Honourable K.P. Sharma Oli, Prime Minister of Nepal, to the United Kingdom in June 2019. In his meeting with the British Prime Minister in London, the two leaders had charted the future course of Nepal-UK relations. Among other things, the two Prime Ministers had laid emphasis on the need of enhancing economic partnership. It was the reflection of aspirations of the people of both countries. In keeping with the sentiments expressed by our leaders, we look forward to wider and deeper engagements in the productive sectors. Of late, therefore, our focus has shifted to further enrich the traditional friendship through stronger economic partnership in all forms. There exists plethora of opportunities for substantial growth in such sectors as bilateral trade, investment, tourism, and transfer of technology. However, only the government's efforts are far too less in capitalizing the potentials. In the absence of the private sector's initiatives, complemented by an enabling environment, we will be unable to catch up the pace. Though the United Kingdom ranks among the major investors in Nepal with the cumulative inflow of about £10 million, the size of investment is still small compared to the potentials. We invite more and more British investors to further explore Nepal's vast investment potentials. I take this opportunity to reiterate that Nepal offers immense opportunities for foreign investors in various sectors with procedural ease and favorable regulations. Low cost of labor, large markets in the neighborhood, permission to 100% ownership of foreign investors, advantage of competitive corporate income tax are some important features. Investors can take advantage of favorable trade relations between the two countries. Nepal is enjoying the UK's LDC tariff treatment, which extends duty-free, quota-free access to almost all products imported from Nepal. The Bilateral Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement (BIPA) with the UK is an added advantage. Moreover, there have been significant improvements in Nepal's investment-related legal framework in the recent years. With the formidable legal provisions in place, the overall investment regime has been bolstered, backed by the requisite institutional arrangements. I am confident that distinguished speakers in today's conference will discuss various aspects of the incentives and investment climate. Esteemed friends, Nepal is on its path of graduating from the least developed countries status at the earliest. We have also pledged to become a middle-income country by 2030. In addition, there is a global commitment to meeting the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. In pursuit of these goals, we are in the need of a large amount of financing. The limited domestic resources mobilization have to be fulfilled by external sources in a blend of development cooperation, foreign direct investment, export earnings, remittances, etc. We encourage British investors to take benefit of encouraging investment potentials in energy, agriculture, infrastructure development, information technology sectors, among others. The Foreign Ministry and the Embassy of Nepal in London stand ready to cooperate with you in any of your concerns in this regard. I invite all the concerned fronts, including entrepreneurs, professionals, and friends of Nepal, to join hands for the common interest. On a final note, I compliment the Right Honourable Lord Sheikh, Lord Bilimoria, and other office bearers of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum for their continued support. I thank the Embassy for the initiatives. With your support and solidarity, this forum will remain instrumental in promoting Nepal's trade, investment, and commercial relations with the United Kingdom. I extend my best wishes for this conference to be an important platform for fostering business and investment ties. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for an excellent insight into why Nepal is the place to do business right now and for the changes that have been made in recent years to further encourage foreign direct investment. We are indeed a friend of Nepal. I'd like to now hand over to Lord Bilimoria, who is known to many of you for his business interests in the UK, but he is also the Vice Chairman of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum and the President of the Venerable Confederation of British Industry. Lord Bilimoria.
Delighted to be taking part in the Nepal Development Forum, and I'm also delighted to be a Vice Chair of the Nepal All-Party Parliamentary Group. I congratulate Lord Sheikh on becoming Chairman of the UK-Nepal in Trade and Investment Forum, of which I'm proud to be a vice chair. There is such huge potential between our two countries, and it's very special for me because I was brought up with the Gurkhas from childhood. My late father, Lieutenant General Billamoria, was commissioned into the 2nd 5th Gurkha Rifles Frontier Force, commanded the battalion, and also ended up becoming Central Army Commander and President of the Gurkha Brigade for the whole of India. So I have been privileged to have been brought up from childhood with 2 Victoria Cross winners. My father's battalion alone was awarded 3 Victoria Crosses. Lord Sheikh has mentioned that the Nepalese, the Gurkhas, were awarded 13 Victoria Crosses. 3 of those are from my father's own battalion, and I have lived with 2 of those legends, and it's been such a privilege. Our relationship as countries goes back 200 years. It's a very strong, close relationship, and the potential is huge. The trade between our two countries is just over £125 million in goods and services, and we've both suffered as countries because of the COVID crisis. There's no running away from it. It's a global crisis, it's a supply crisis, it's a demand crisis with the reverberations running through the supply chains. And a country like Nepal, which is so wonderful for tourism, we have over 60,000 British tourists who visit Nepal every year. That tourism has come to a standstill, and the suffering is great. Jobs are at stake, and we need to work together as two countries. And this conference is fantastic, and I'm delighted that His Excellency the Nepal Ambassador to the UK and Her Excellency the British Ambassador to Nepal, as well as the Honourable Foreign Minister from Nepal, are all taking part in this conference to discuss the challenges, but also to discuss the enormous opportunities. This time shall pass. We will come out of this crisis. How can we look ahead? The wonderful work that our Foreign Office and DFID, now the Foreign and Commonwealth and Development Office, are conducting in Nepal is superb. The work that the British Council is doing is superb. The potential for universities collaborating together is amazing. Nepalese students coming to the UK and collaborations with universities in Nepal and over here in the UK. I'm proud to be Chancellor of the University of Birmingham, and I know the enormous opportunities that exist between our two countries when it comes to student and exchange, and I look forward to furthering that. So I wish this conference every success, and I look forward to the huge potential that our countries have together. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
What a very impressive and inspiring connection to Nepal. Thank you, Lord Billamoria. Now, I'm going to hand over to the Vice President of the Federation of Nepalese Chambers of Commerce and Industry for a perspective from the private sector. It's key in this type of dialogue that we do hear from the private sector and how they can encourage you as companies to go to Kathmandu and to engage in the business climate. Thank you.
Right Honourable Lord Sheikh, Vice Chairman, Nepal All Party Parliamentary Group and the President, UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, Honourable Mr. Pradeep Kumar Gyawali, Foreign Minister of Nepal, His Excellency Dr. Durga Bahadur Subedi, Ambassador of Nepal to the United Kingdom, Mr. Etham Sendhu, Chief Executive, DMA and the Secretary General UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, distinguished speaker and participant, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to be present in this discussion on the COVID and the post-COVID opportunities, and briefly share the views on behalf of the Nepal private sector. Like all the global economics, Nepal is also greatly affected by the COVID. We are one of the hardest hit economies since the lockdown in the country continued for the last 6 months. We had to cancel the Visit Nepal 2020 program that aimed to bring in 2 million visitors this year. Despite all this, we aim to regain the momentum of the GDP growth in the nearest future. Since the economy is becoming more organized and formal, there are many business opportunities that will come along. Political stability in the country has also encouraged all of us. Most of the investment area that will yield a better return are still not developed in full-fledged way. This means there are the opportunities of the investment. tourism, commercial farming, healthcare, education, including other manufacturing area, need big the investment. Nepal private sector is becoming the more vibrant and experienced now to go in the partnership with the international investor in this area. Currently, hydropower, tourism infrastructure, healthcare, telecommunication and the development of infrastructure are the area where we see our international business communities are interested to invest in. We look forward to partnering with them and the investing in this area. COVID has certainly affected our business, but not stopped us to explore the new area of the investment. Therefore, on behalf of the Nepal's private sector, I welcome our business partners to invest in the virgin area, and I assure all of them that we are ready to go together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So we've heard from several speakers this morning, and I guess now we get down to one of the interesting parts of this type of dialogue, which is the actual dialogue itself. So the questions that you have for the individual speakers. I have a number that have been submitted over the past weeks, and I think I'll start with those if I may. And first I'd like to start with Lord Sheikh, if I may. This is a question that was submitted a couple of weeks ago, but of course it's still relevant now, and it's in relation to COVID-19. What, Lord Sheikh, do you see and visualise as the challenges in terms of promoting a trade and investment agenda between two countries that are so far apart, the UK and Nepal? Lord Sheikh.
Unfortunately, the whole world is suffering as a result of COVID-19. It's an invisible enemy which knows no boundaries, no barriers. So undoubtedly, I think the first thing to do is for the various countries to get over this pandemic. I think people are very much concerned about looking after themselves. But having said this, there's no reason why we should not have a view as to what we should do in regard to trade in the future. I think you must have a vision, and I think that whatever happens, we must accelerate trade activities, not to the United Kingdom, but also in the overseas countries. Now we are coming out of the European Union. Trade with other countries is more vital. Of course, there are challenges wherever you go, but if there are challenges, we must find ways to overcome these challenges. We are very, very friendly with Nepal. We have a relationship with Nepal goes back over 200 years, and it's a country where we would like to see more trade between the two countries.
Thank you so much, Lord Sheikh. I wonder if I could now ask Ambassador Pollitt about education, and specifically, if I may, Ambassador, if you could give us a sense as to what the opportunities are within the education sector, in tertiary education, in university education, in training and vocational education. That would be really helpful. We've had a number of questions that are focused on this particular area, and they come from a variety of organisations, specifically from tertiary education providers. So over to you, Ambassador.
Thank you. I'm glad you asked about education. It's a priority sector for us here in Nepal. English language, yes, of course, that is an important area. But we've also seen an exponential increase in the number of students getting UK degrees and diplomas, working and studying here in Nepal through affiliations with UK universities. Technical education and vocational qualifications are also an area of potential. UK-TVET qualifications are internationally recognised, and our UK Department for International Trade representative here at the Embassy is supporting British and Nepali organisations looking to set up training centres in Nepal. So as you can see, there are definitely opportunities in this sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. That was tremendous. May I also ask you, Ambassador, about UK Export Finance? We touched on it earlier on, of course. It's a tremendous appetite that UK Export Finance has for Nepal. I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you. Yes, UK Export Finance has recently reviewed its market risk appetite, and I'm happy to note that it's increased the limit up to £1 to £2 billion, and almost all of that has yet to be drawn down. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is really quite overwhelming. We've received so many questions that it's going to be a real challenge to get through all of them. Let me just select some of those questions, and then perhaps I can put it to the panel to react to each one of them. So I'm just going to express, I guess I'm going to express as many of the inquiries as I can, and I'll start with the tourism side of it. Now, mountain tourism is of course one of Nepal's most important foreign exchange earners, but climate change is contributing to the melting of glaciers, and multiple hydro streams are undermining its reputation for whitewater rafting. What can be done to ensure that Nepal's post-COVID tourism will be sustainable and resilient?
Tourism is regarded as the pillar of the Nepalese economy, and mountain tourism is, of course, one of the most important foreign currency earning sources of the country. Post-COVID sustainable tourism is a big global question. My personal assessment is that gradually the government of Nepal will adopt the policy of cautiously opening of businesses and tourism. I think that we should diversify and expand tourism products and areas into the hinterlands, mountains, and connect it with the local community and nature conservation efforts. The new tourism model should be a holistic one, departing from the existing mainstream model of tourism, which is largely profit-seeking, large-scale, mass-based urban activities. Obviously, there have been adverse impacts of climate change on the national economy of Nepal and the livelihood, including on the tourism industry of the country. It is certainly a challenge to continuous development activities and maintains a balance between climate change and development imperatives. The climate change is making severe impacts on the melting of glaciers. Multiple hydro streams are undermining its reputation for whitewater rafting. Nepal is very much committed to fighting climate change, globally in international policy making and norm-setting processes, including within the UNFCCC and other initiatives. And domestically, we have more than 40% forest coverage, large protected area, progressive climate change related policies, and legislations geared towards a greener economy in the long run. In 2019, the government of Nepal has implemented climate change policy in order to ensure sustainable and resilient tourism. Concept of climate-friendly tourism like ecotourism, green trekking route, and diversification of tourist destinations will be mainstreamed into the development of tourism sector in Nepal. The concept of zero emission will be implemented by promoting the use of renewable energy and energy efficient technologies in tourist spots. Transmission of weather forecast information will be systematized, focusing on mountaineering and trekking in order to make the tourism business safe and reliable. On the other hand, the government of Nepal is determined to identify natural and cultural heritages that are at risk of adverse impacts of climate change. So far as the contribution of the United Kingdom to the tourism industry is concerned, I would say the United Kingdom occupies an important position in terms of overseas arrival in Nepal. In terms of overseas tourist arrival in Nepal, I wish to mention the encouraging data for your reference. The number of British tourists to Nepal, when I was just coming as the ambassador of Nepal, it was 29,730 in 2015. It was 46,295 in the year 2016. The number of British tourist arrival in 2017 was 51,058. It was 63,086 in 2018 and 61,139 in the year 2019. As the UK market constitutes important segment for the sustainable growth of Nepal's tourism sector, the Embassy of Nepal has been engaged in tourism promotional activities in cooperation of various tourism-related agencies in the United Kingdom. In this regard, the cooperation and contribution of the newly established UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum will be instrumental to encourage more British tourists to Nepal and to enhance more British investment in the tourism industry of the country.
And I think over to Lord Sheikh and the Ambassador of Nepal for some closing comments. Thank you very much from me, from DMA, for participating today. What a fascinating discussion. I'm so sorry that all of the questions weren't answered. We just didn't have time to cover that, but we will press those, the answers that you have put to us, to the individuals that are best able to respond, and we will get back to you in the coming weeks. Thank you so much. We look forward to trade mission to Nepal in the coming months once we're through the current crisis, and I'd like to thank you again for your time today. Many thanks.
I would like to thank all the speakers for their excellent contributions and commitment to promoting UK-Nepal relations. I would like to express my thanks to Atam Sandhu and his team at DMA for organizing this virtual conference, which I hope will be a prelude to many more engagements, and I also hope that the engagements in future will happen in person rather than being virtual. I would like to express my thanks to everyone, all the audience, for your interest in Nepal and for your questions. We look forward to welcoming new members to the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, and would be looking for your support when we organize our trade mission to Kathmandu next year. There are 3 take-home messages. Number 1, the government of Nepal is committed to building an attractive business climate. 2, Nepal and UK have a valuable and deep relationship that we must continue to build. 3, the opportunities for sustainable development are huge. Key sectors are education, tourism, hydropower, financial services, infrastructure, manufacturing, and agriculture. This marvelous country is a favorable place for your investment, especially given policy incentives that have been discussed earlier on today. Trade must be at the forefront of the COVID-19 recovery. As a businessman, I encourage you to explore Nepal and do business with the country and also the people of Nepal, who I have found to be extremely friendly and courteous. Thank you.
Distinguished Chairman of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, Right Honourable Lord Sheikh and Lady Sheikh, Chief Guest of the conference, Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs of Nepal, Mr. Pradip Kumar Ghewali, Chairman of the CBI and Vice Chair of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum, Right Honourable Lord Billy Molia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, namaste and good afternoon. We have now arrived at the successful conclusion of the Nepal Development Conference. I wish to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Right Honourable Lord Sheikh, who is the chair of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum and the vice chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Nepal, for his able and wise leadership for establishing the forum and for his initiatives for organizing this significant conference today. I regard and respect Right Honourable Lord Sheikh as a good and great friend of Nepal and the Nepalese people, who always urge and encourage British traders, investors and entrepreneurs to explore and expand their businesses and investment in Nepal. We had a wonderful opportunity today to listen to the comprehensive views and visions of our distinguished speakers and presenters. We learned that the British traders and investors are willing to support the development efforts of Nepal, particularly for the enhancement of trade and investment between Nepal and the United Kingdom. I wish to thank for their interesting and insightful ideas and inputs, which would be important and instrumental for the development of Nepal. I believe that the distinguished guests and participants, both from the British and Nepalese communities, will be benefited from their substantive and realistic ideas and visions expressed in their presentations and statements. Nepal, like several countries in the world, is suffering from the problem of COVID-19 pandemic. It has severely hit the economy of Nepal, mostly on the tourism, trade and development sectors. It has not only impacted on the employment, but also has adverse impact on the production and distribution systems. It has, no doubt, created an impediment to the pace of economic and social development of the country, including to the enhancement of trade and investment. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are confident that current atmosphere of political stability in the country and the liberal economic and trade policies of the government of Nepal will create a base for overall economic orientation of the country and thereby for the sustained economic growth and sustainable development of Nepal. I have mentioned in my opening statement about the liberal policies and plans of the government of Nepal. The government of Nepal is pleased to welcome the foreign capital to lay the foundation of the economy in the national priority sector projects and also in the sectors where domestic mobilization of capital is inadequate and thus seeks huge capital investment. The government of Nepal is pursuing the policy of open, transparent and liberal economy and the policy of trade diversification, which will lead to a significant shift in Nepal's trade. As the single-handed effort of the public sector is not adequate to accelerate the pace of economic growth, the government of Nepal has adopted the policy of public-private partnership in infrastructure development. The present government is encouraging the private sectors for the development of trade and industries in the country. The government of Nepal has already constituted a high-level investment board which is headed by the Prime Minister himself. The investment board is working for providing facilities to the industries in a coordinated way by introducing necessary reforms in the policies, plans, institutions and the procedures so as to simplify the process of industry establishment and create investment-friendly environment. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Nepal has regarded water resources sector as the main basis of economic prosperity. The hydropower potentiality of Nepal's rivers is one of the largest potential in the world. We have therefore encouraged investment in hydropower sector. However, there are various other sectors such as tourism, agriculture, education, health-related facilities, financial services, information technology and biotechnology-related industries, which are viable and beneficial sectors for investment in Nepal. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have no hesitation to mention that the trade and investment in Nepal from the United Kingdom remains relatively below its actual potential in the backdrop of this country's close and cordial ties, both at the government and people-to-people levels. The need of the time is to expand and explore newer venues and newer sectors for trade with and investment in Nepal. As the Ambassador of Nepal to the United Kingdom, I have doing my best to consolidate and deepen the existing close, cordial and mutually rewarding relationship between Nepal and the United Kingdom. For this, I have followed both conventional and development diplomacy, and more importantly and enthusiastically, the development diplomacy for the development of Nepal. At this juncture, my priorities are tourism, trade, investment and employment, as well as utilization of knowledge, skills, technology and capital of the non-resident Nepalese people, whom I regard as the bridge between Nepal and the United Kingdom. I assure you all of the Embassy's fullest possible support and cooperation to the British traders and investors and to all of you. The Embassy of Nepal is pleased to cooperate with all the British business houses, companies, traders and investors to work together to further enhance trade and investment in Nepal. The Embassy is ready to disseminate necessary information and offer coordination pertaining to trade and investment in the country. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Right Honourable Lord Billy Molia for his important and insightful statement and kind words extended to Nepal and the Nepalese people. We regard and respect Lord Billy Molia as a good friend of the Gurkhas and a great well-wisher of Nepal and the Nepalese people. Her Excellency Nicola Pollitt, the British Ambassador to Nepal, has also made a significant statement today. I am confident that Ambassador Pollitt is trying her best to promote existing commercial ties between our two friendly countries. I also would like to express my sincere thankfulness to Mr. Atam Sandhu, the newly appointed Secretary General of the UK-Nepal Trade and Investment Forum and the Chief Executive of the DMA, and his entire team for their untiring efforts and cooperation to organize such an important conference at the appropriate time when the government of Nepal is committed for the development of Nepal with its long-term vision and mission of prosperous Nepal, happy Nepali. Having said these few words of thankfulness and gratitude, I now declare the conclusion of the conference. Long live Nepal-Britain relations. I thank you all. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.